Welcome to Last Alive. Well, who's gonna be whooping whose ass today? Well, fighting it out today over the next 8 rounds is gonna be a couple part 4s. Friday the 13th, the final chapter, which was released in 1984, versus Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, released in 1988. Now, before we get into it, let me explain what we're doing here for maybe somebody out there who hasn't seen an episode like this before. So essentially, instead of me just sitting up here and just saying, well, I like this movie better, these are the reasons, blah, 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 blah. We're gonna kind of go through each little individual piece of each movie, like the story, the kills, the final girl, the ending, and kind of score them that way and help to kind of quantify why I think one of the movies is better than the other movie. So let me explain a little bit more on how the scoring is gonna go and how each round will work. Each round will be a category like kills, final girl, the story, etc. And if you're familiar with traditional combat sports scoring, each round I'll give 10 points to the winner of that round and 9 points to the loser of that round. But if one movie gets its ass kicked in a round, then the loser will get 8 points instead of 9. All right, let's start off round 1 by talking about a good one. Let's start by talking about the kills, and I'll start by talking about the older movie first. In Friday the 13th Part 4, we get some fun ones like Axel's saw to the throat with the neck snap, Jimmy getting the corkscrew in the hand, then the cleaver in the face, and one of my personal favorites in the movie, Doug getting his head crushed in the shower. We also can't forget that Jason Voorhees dies in Friday the 13th Part 4. Yeah, we do get one off-screen death when Mrs. Jarvis gets it, but one off-screen death in a slasher movie from the 80s? I mean, that's pretty damn good. Now, with Friday the 13th having so much success with all these kills, all these gory kills, and just more carnage in general, Halloween 4 was like, all right, you want some deaths? All right, we'll give you more of those too. And Halloween 4 has got a pretty high death count, around 15 or so. There's a couple we aren't really sure if they died or not. But H4 has got some fun deaths too, like the thumb through the forehead, Kelly Meeker stabbed with the rifle, then pinned up on the wall. Bucky thrown into the Transformer, and Earl's throat rip.
Throat lozenges? You're gonna want to take the whole box. Awesome! Got another throat rip in. Cool.
But also just some kind of whatever deaths, like the waitress, the paramedics, the dude shot in the bushes, and Deputy Logan, all those deaths off screen. So even though Halloween 4 technically has a higher body count, to me, it's quality over quantity, baby. And Friday the 13th, the final chapter lands a pretty big uppercut and gets a flash knockdown in round 1 and gets a 10-8 round. Squaring off next in round 2 are the characters. Friday 4's got your usual horny teens looking to bang in the woods, which includes Crispin Glover. You've also got the Jarvis family, who we get to know pretty well and genuinely seem like a nice little family that loves each other, and you don't really want to see them get killed, which of course includes Corey Feldman playing Tommy Jarvis, who's obviously an 80s legend. But we can't forget in Halloween 4, Dr. Loomis is back, and yeah, he's starting to get a little bit more and more loony, but he's still his kind of crazy, likable self. But not my personal favorite Loomis in the franchise by any means. Rachel Carruthers and Sheriff Meeker are okay. Daniel Harris is fucking great as Jamie Llyoyd, of course. The overzealous town members trying to kill Michael are pretty stupid, but also can be kind of charming at times, how they love the town and just really want to protect it. And yeah, Brady redeems himself a little bit at the end, but he's just not an interesting or even likable character overall. I've got to give Friday 4 the 10-9 round here though, because I just think that Tommy Jarvis and Jamie Llyoyd kind of cancel each other out, and setting those two aside, Loomis is decent in this movie, not my personal favorite, like I said. And Friday, yes, has some silly characters that are just there to get hacked up, but the final chapter has characters I enjoy watching more than the characters in Halloween 4. I mean, you could argue that this is the best cast in the entire Friday the 13th franchise, but to me, it's just a fun cast for a slasher movie. Now on to round 3, and in this round, the music goes toe-to-toe. I really enjoy the music in both of these movies. In Halloween 4, the music feels very late 80s. It's definitely got kind of a cozy, rainy, fall vibe to it, and I really like the spin on the main theme song. In Friday 4, I do really like Harry Manfredini's music in this movie, but it does kind of just feel like more of the same. And for that reason, I'm gonna have to give a 10-9 round here to Halloween 4. All right, round 4, how much do I enjoy the story of each movie? So Halloween 4 picks up 10 years after the hospital explosion in Halloween 2. Myers is now out of a coma. No clue how Myers survived, or even Loomis for that matter. But now the story centers around Michael learning that he's got a niece, Laurie Strode's kid, because of course this is the timeline where Michael and Laurie are siblings. Turns out Laurie died in a car accident. So damn, she survived all that shit just to die in a car accident? That's pretty brutal, but anyways, Halloween 4 is kind of your basic Halloween story. But at least Halloween 4 tries some interesting things along the way, like the evil somehow creeping its way into Jamie, for example. Outside of killing Jason at the end, Friday 4, though, kind of just does the usual Friday the 13th thing. You've got a bunch of horny teens in the woods, they're partying and getting killed, which I like. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's tried and true, but I think I like the Halloween 4 story more, which is why I'm giving Halloween 4 the 10-9 round. All right, up next in round 5, which movie do I think is scarier? Personally, Friday the 13th is not one of those franchises that's ever really scared me, even as a kid. It's just a fun slasher movie with some great woodsy vibes. So spoiler, I'm giving this round to Halloween 4 because for one, it just feels more realistic. Escaped mental patient, back on the run, killing people. It's in a normal suburban neighborhood mainly, and the Halloween fall vibes are definitely on point in Halloween 4. So 10-9 again for Halloween 4. In round 6, we're throwing some final girl, final guy haymakers. This round's gonna be kind of an interesting one because both of these movies have the siblings survive to the end of the movie. In the final chapter, you've got Trish and Tommy surviving, and in Halloween 4, you've got Jamie and her stepsister, Rachel, surviving to the end. Now, both Corey Feldman and Danielle Harris do a damn good job in both of these movies, both fantastic child actors in their own right. Now, on the other hand, neither Rachel or Trish are really great characters to me. They do a good job in their roles, but both of them are just kind of forgettable. I guess you could say Trish is maybe a little bit more forgettable than Rachel, but it's so close. So I've got to make this round a 10-10 round. Both of these movies threw some pretty big punches early on in the round, and then they just kind of finished off the round with some jabs and stuff like that. So it was a close one. Coming in next in round 7 is which ending do I like more? All right, this is probably the hardest round for me. Halloween 4's got one of the better endings in the entire Halloween franchise. It's got action, good kills, and a big holy shit moment when the protagonist of the entire movie becomes the villain at the very end. Even though that last moment is kind of a direct ripoff from the original Halloween. But the final chapter's ending is solid too. The entire chase sequence between the two houses is great, with Trish trying to protect Tommy. Then this smart little kid, Tommy Jarvis, kills Jason, which is definitely pretty damn iconic. Even though the whole thing with him cutting his hair to make Jason think that he's looking at himself is a little bit of a reach to me. Then we get that great shot of Tommy opening his eyes in kind of a creepy, ambiguous way, right before the credits, which to me is a great way to end a movie called The Final Chapter. I genuinely think these two endings are pretty even to me, so this is going to be a 10-10 round. And now for the 8th and final round, which killer do I like more? Michael Myers from Halloween 4 or Jason Voorhees from The Final Chapter? George P. Wilbur plays Michael in Halloween 4, and I'll be honest, it's one of my least favorite Michael Myers in the franchise. The mask is a little creepy, but more kind of just goofy looking in certain scenes. The mask has this kind of Renee Zellweger mouth and this Patrick Bateman slicked back hair thing going for some reason. Yeah, also you can't forget Blonde Michael shows up here too. Yes, that's a thing. Go watch the school scene at the end. Also, the shoulder pads have always kind of ruined the entire look for me personally, and I think they should have just kept Michael in bloody bandages the entire movie. That would have been badass. Michael does fuck some people up in this movie, but I don't know, he just looks so unathletic to me when he moves around in this movie. Ted White plays Jason in The Final Chapter, and this Jason is easily one of my favorites in the entire franchise. His face is modeled after the young Jason from the first movie. He's not this massive character like he is in other movies. He's big, but he's more human looking in this one, which I like. He really does look like a dirty guy with a mask who's been living in the woods waiting to kill people. So the final round is going to be a 10-8 round for Friday Part 4. And to the scorecards we go, and the judges score the bout 77-75. And the newest Part 4 champion is Friday the 13th, the final chapter. And there you go. That is the second ever Last Alive Fight to the Death. Let me know in the comments down below what movies should fight it out next. Make sure you subscribe and tell a friend about the channel as well. If you want more content from me, then go ahead and check out one of these videos next to me. But anyways, take care of yourselves and remember, it's always Halloween.